observing the Earth from the International Space Station is something that many dream of doing. As of right now, NASA along with other space agencies have said that people will be able to do this in the not so distant future. Space tourism company Blue Origin, owned by Jeff Bezos, announced that it has plans to partner with Sierra Space and Boeing to open a commercial space station called Orbital Reef, stating that it has plans to do this within the next 10 years. The station will function as a space outpost of sorts that can be employed for a variety of different purposes, including filmmaking, research or tourism, and includes a space hotel that can host up to 10 people. According to those who watched the live cameras attached to the International Space Station, along with EVA activity and rocket launches by SpaceX, they've said that there appears to be objects above the atmosphere that occasionally approach the International Space Station. In fact, one of these strange-looking objects recently approached the International Space Station, with those who saw the footage describing the object as looking like a black mass, saying that it appeared to have some type of blur around it. What's interesting about this is that for years people who have seen these mysterious objects have often described these blurred areas, saying that they almost look like force fields. Several researchers have debated these sightings, saying that everyday things can be used to explain these objects, and that when these objects are seen in space, what people are seeing is motion blur, debris or even photographic anomalies. Others though have said that we should keep an open mind when it comes to this space outside of our planet. One user said the following: "We often see objects in the distance that could be passed off as light reflections, or even debris, but this one appears to be bouncing around outside of the ISS. At first I thought it was a smudge on the camera, but you can see that this thing is moving around on its own." End quote. Other users have said that although these objects look interesting, sometimes low angles and unusual shapes can explain away many of these sightings, noting that this type of evidence has already been studied by scientists and researchers, and the best explanation they've come up with is that these objects are space debris. Believers though suggest that there's a more complex answer, and that so many of these objects have been detected by the International Space Station. Interestingly, another piece of evidence that researchers use is that of the strange objects that keep showing up at the Sun. In recent years, this object has become known as the Cube. NASA have pointed out that these objects are nothing of interest, have nothing to do with large objects, and have said that there's no need for further explanation, as what we're looking at is something like a glitch in the data. However, not everyone agrees with this, with users saying that every so often these objects can be seen around our Sun, and that they've even been seen on live cameras leaving the Sun. Some users have said this is proof that something is there, because when these objects leave they pull part of the plasma off into space. This image was taken by SOHO, a craft that was launched in December 1995 to study the Sun inside out. NASA said the following on their website: "The joint NASA ESA Solar and Heliospheric Observatory mission, SOHO, was designed to study the Sun inside out, from its internal structure to the extensive outer atmosphere, to the solar wind that it blows across the solar system." Launched in December 1995, SOHO was meant to operate until 1998, but it's been so successful that ESA and NASA have endorsed several mission extensions over the past 2 decades, allowing it to cover multiple solar cycles. One researcher said the following: "This image looks strange to me because it appears that it's been blacked out. We've seen this time and time again on places like Google Earth, but now it appears to be happening in space. Something is clearly pulling away from the sun, and even having an effect on it. I'd love to see what's behind it. It's strange that they felt the need to black out whatever was there. In most of these images, the cube is on one side of the sun, but this is one of those times where it actually appears to be having an effect on the sun." End quote. Others went on to share more images of this mysterious cube, pointing out that others appear to be embedded inside the sun, or even interacting with it. Scientists don't believe that these objects are anything strange, and have said that sometimes space debris can take on different shapes that make it look like something it's not. NASA and other space agencies have said they've presented evidence to back this up, and notes that although they look impressive, when NASA scientists have looked into them, they've turned out to have a mundane explanation. According to one scientist, they noted that many of these images show these anomalies, and all they are is glitches in the software, and that it has nothing to do with strange objects. NASA said that out of the hundreds of thousands of photographs that they've taken, they've never once captured anything strange. Another interesting discovery is that of the mystery objects detected on the edge of Saturn's rings. We all know about Saturn's rings. Those rings are made up of thousands upon thousands of rocks, dust particles and other space bits that circle around the second largest planet in our solar system. What you may not know is that the discovery made in 2013 of a mysterious object on the edge of the gas giant's famous rings. Back in 2013, scientists working with NASA's Cassini project managed to spot an object by the edge of Saturn's A-ring. Scientists were baffled at the discovery and gave it the equally baffling name of Peggy. The odd object was first seen on April 15, 2013 by total accident, as Cassini's cameras were pointed towards a small moon called Prometheus. Prometheus orbits Saturn between the planet's rings, and as Cassini was positioned in the view of Prometheus, researcher Carl Murray of Queen Mary University of London noticed something peculiar on A-ring's edge. At a talk during the 2013 American Geophysical Union Conference, Murray said, "I've not seen anything like this personally in the A-ring." Since Murray began his work investigating this strange object on the day of his mother-in-law's 80th birthday, he decided to name it after her, and so Peggy was born. Peggy is believed to be around 1 kilometer across, which makes it too small to be a moon or a small variety called a moonlet. A physicist named Matthew Hedman, an academic working from the University of Idaho, also played a role in Cassini's imaging project. Matthew Hedman was not involved with the mysterious object, but he stated that what Murray observed was a disturbance in the rings. Unfortunately, we still don't know what Peggy actually is. One theory suggests that Peggy is actually a gathering of matter that has collapsed under its own gravitational weight. It's believed that a number of the moons orbiting Saturn were created this way, initially starting as build-ups of material before forming smaller satellite objects. If this is the case, the discovery of Peggy would be the first time this process has been seen happening. There is also the possibility that Peggy could be known as a transient feature, which could be a collection of material that formed to make something larger, before breaking up again. However, when Murray went back into Cassini's archives to check whether this might be the case, he was able to find images of Peggy as far back as June 2012. The team working on the Cassini project have put forward for further examination of Peggy, which should hopefully shine some light on its nature in the near future. Scientists are especially observant during certain parts of the year, when the gravitational balance from two moons named Janus and Epimetheus cause an A-ring to expand outward. A strange object has been sighted by NASA and likened to an empty bag, and as surprising as it may be, it isn't the first discovery of its kind. An object that's several meters wide and lightweight has been seen floating in space. Current assumptions are that the object, which has been named A10B-MLZ, is some form of waste material left behind from a previous rocket launch. Whilst it's not been determined which rocket launch has left A10B-MLZ out in space, it's been concluded that the material is most likely a metallic foil. A10B-MLZ is currently on an elliptical orbit, taking an oval path as opposed to a circular orbit. This means its distance from Earth drastically varies, from being only 372 miles or 600 kilometers away from Earth to being 334,000 miles or 538,000 kilometers away, which is 1.4 times as far as the Moon is from Earth. This elliptical orbit can be skewed even more, however, due to the small mass of the object. The Sun emits radiation pressure, which interacts with the object in such an influential manner due to the object's small mass. This results in the object being pushed around, outside of the course it would naturally follow, creating an orbit change many have described as chaotic. This spontaneity means we cannot predict the path it will follow. Numerous possibilities remain. The object could re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, it could continue its orbit indefinitely, or a number of unforeseen events could occur. The object was first seen by the Hawaii Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System telescope. This observation was then confirmed by the Northolt Branch observatories in London. As well as confirming the sighting's validity, they also reiterated the surprisingly lightweight and large size of the object, and identified the unusual orbit. Other items have been seen within space and likened to plastic bags due to their sporadic movements, largely influenced by radiation pressure. Scientists have seen another mysterious object in space, saying that it could solve a puzzle around black holes. Black holes have gripped the minds of great intellectuals for decades, yet exciting revelations are still occurring, giving us more clues to the constantly growing puzzle. Recent discoveries have given more answers as to the mass gap. Scientists have previously operated under the assumption that the maximum mass of a neutron star, the celestial body that may develop into a black hole, was 2.5 solar masses, or 2.5 times the mass of the Sun, and that the minimum mass of a black hole was 5 solar masses. This left an uncertain gap, and the space between 2.5 and 5 solar masses that was not accounted for, and so became known as the mass gap. Until recently, the mass gap was a relatively theoretical issue, as no objects that fell within this class had been discovered. An object discovered in August 2019, reported in June 2020, has been found to weigh 2.6 solar masses, prompting the question, is this the lightest black hole yet to be discovered, or the heaviest neutron star? Professor Vicky Calgiera of Northwestern University commented the following: "We've been waiting decades to solve this mystery." She emphasizes that regardless as to the ultimate class of the object in the mass gap, the discovery breaks a record. The signals picked up that alerted physicists to the discovery were created through the merging of a strange object with a black hole at a staggering 23 solar masses. This prompted a series of gravitational waves throughout space, which were detected in our observatories on Earth. LIGO referred to this signal as highly unusual, prompting further study and research. The two bodies interact in an unexpected way, shedding an element of uncertainty on the once presumed to be accurate understanding of black hole formations. More observations and data collection will need to take place in order to confirm this. This information will presumably be gathered through the use of light-based telescopes. The questions that are now being tackled following the discovery of this object at 2.6 solar masses are: why has it been so difficult to locate items within the mass gap if they're out there? Is the mass gap real at all? Are the measurements for the mass gap incorrect? how are neutron stars and black holes truly formed, and has our understanding of this celestial phenomena changed? The light emissions, while limited due to the object becoming engulfed by the black hole, are being tracked from the Virgo and LIGO observatories, though the apparent destruction of the mass gap object means only a minor observation could be noted. As technology advances, we can only hope to discover more objects within space like this, as we strive to ask more questions and gain more answers. Antarctica is one of the least explored places on planet Earth. The first sighting of Antarctica is now acknowledged to have taken place around January 1820, and this was by 2 Russian ships. Fast forward to the 1930s, and teams of scientists and researchers have tried to extensively map and explore Antarctica, and although there's no permanent residents that call this place home, many workers do live in Antarctica, helping to study the environment and carry out scientific tests. Ever since early explorers touched down in this region though, there's been whispers of strange goings-on throughout the area, leading amateur researchers to conduct their own research in order to get to the bottom of some of these mysteries. Most of these comments and theories usually stem from somewhere, whether it's a strange photograph taken from a satellite, or comments that have been made by early explorers. The reason why Antarctica is so fascinating to many people is because of how little we know about the area, and due to the constant findings that are being made on top of and below the ice. Only recently scientists had announced that there's an unseen world living beneath Antarctica, which likely hold thousands of new species which are not known to modern science. These incredible creatures can give us an insight into how animals can adapt to different environments, and we may be able to apply some of this information to places within our solar system. Being able to survive in these extreme environments is a perfect example of life finds a way. Back in December 1955, explorers mapped parts of Antarctica and revealed that they'd found a dome. Certain communities picked up on this and started saying that this is proof that something strange is happening in Antarctica, and this is the proof they needed. The book that detailed this is the 1958 Encyclopedia Americana. It reads as follows: "These flights prove the inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at a latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east." End quote. Those who believe the strange goings-on in Antarctica, and believe this planet is different to this scientific belief, have said that scientists found a large dome above Antarctica, and this is the real reason why people can't go there or fly above the region. One person who believes in these theories said the following: "This is the real reason why you can't visit and explore Antarctica. What many people don't know is that the area is heavily guarded by the government, and it's near impossible to fly above these regions. To me it sounds like they're trying to keep people out, and the reason they're doing this is because something is down there that they don't want the people knowing about. We now have proof of this huge dome down in Antarctica, and it wouldn't surprise me if this, along with other things, is the main reason why they're trying to stop people from going down there." End quote. Others carried on from this and said this is just one of the things that's been found in the region, going on to say that many explorers have detailed seeing other strange things when flying above the icy continent. One user said that every year satellites capture strange-looking objects that appear to be embedded in the snow, saying that this could be proof of advanced civilizations that happened to live in this region thousands of years ago, or that it could show that large operations are being carried out here by governments across the world. And the reason some of these photographs are blurred is because they don't want us to know what's going on. Not everyone is entirely convinced though, and people quickly shut down these claims, saying that the people spreading the wrong message are those that don't understand the correct terminology. The truth here is that dome in terms of geology means a large structure that's formed by rock strata. These domes usually have an arch-like shape, and can reach thousands of feet in height. One good way of describing these domes is like someone cutting a tennis ball in half, although scientists have noted that not all domes are perfectly rounded. Some of the ways that these large domes develop is with the help of magma. This magma flow eventually pushes up surface rock layers, which in turn gives us this dome look. In fact, the official Antarctica website said the following about the discovery. Dome Arcus has a surface elevation of 4,093 meters, or 13,428 feet. It's the highest place in East Antarctica. It's also one of the least known places on the globe. An automatic weather station provides data from this remote site. Dome Arcus lies near one end of a ridge around 60 kilometers long and 10 kilometers wide, or 37.2 miles long and 6.2 miles wide. The ice there is more than 3,000 meters thick, overlaying the subglacial Gamvertsev Mountains. The world's lowest temperature ever recorded was minus 89.2 degrees, and this happened in July 1983 at the Russian station Vostok, inland of Australia's Cassie Station. Dome Arcus is nearly 600 meters higher in elevation than Vostok. This means there's a good chance that the automatic weather station at Dome Arcus could record the world's lowest surface temperature. The coldest temperature to date was minus 82.5 degrees, and this happened in July 2005. The automatic weather station at Dome Arcus was set up as part of the Australian-Chinese collaboration in January 2005. No ground-based scientific investigation had been made at this site before the arrival of the Chinese Oversnow Transverse team. The weather station measures wind speed, air temperature with sensors mounted on mast arms, at 1 meter, 2 meter and 4 meters above the snow surface. Snow temperature is 0.1 meters, 1 meter, 3 meters and 10 meters in depth. Atmospheric pressure, wind direction, incoming solar radiation, relative humidity and snowfall rate." End quote. So what do you make of these interesting discoveries? And what do you make of some of the mysteries around Antarctica? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.